Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of what? The Insurance Television Network. I'm Joe Battaglia, your host. We're always talking about, new ideas, new ways to position yourself. But you know what? Let's talk about something that I feel is incredibly important in your business. And that is what? How do you stand out in the crowd? How do you stand out in the crowd? If you were in a meeting or if you were in a Chamber of Commerce meeting, a networking event, how would you stand out from the crowd with all the other fellow insurance agents, all the other fellow financial advisors, all the realtors, because it's the same old story at those networking events? How do you stand out in the crowd? Think about this. When you've gone to one of those events, did you stand out in the crowd, or was there somebody else that was the action that everybody was gravitating towards? Were you just that person just standing on the sidelines? Were you that agent that everybody talking and laughing and having fun? You know which one you want to be. So let's talk about standing out in the crowd. Now, when you talk about standing out in the crowd, you know what you're doing? You're selling yourself. How do you sell you, the magic of you? How do you bring yourself out? Now, if I was to ask you, why use you? So everybody comes out with the same old story. I've been in the business for 25 years. I have 17 titles at the end of my name. That's all fine and dandy. But what's the overall experience being there? What's the overall experience of somebody talking with you, right? It's not only those designations. What is it, to stand out in the crowd? It's a mix of a lot of different things. A lot of different things you need. But the most important thing is, do you invite competition? Do you invite competition, or do you run from competition? You need to stand out from the crowd. It's time to stand out. Now, what you have to look at is, how does one stand out in the crowd? Well, what does that look like? What does somebody look like who stands out in the crowd? Number one, it's your dress attire, right? You have to look the part. If you're a financial advisor and you want somebody to invest their retirement assets with you, you better look the part. You better be the part, right? That's important. So the idea is, if you want to be the part of a financial advisor, right, you better be dressing right. You better look neat and clean, right, because I'm polished. That's what it's all about. Now, you better be articulate in your communication skills. Make sure you speak well. If you have a heavy accent, well, try to, don't lose your accent, but make sure you understand that the other person might not understand you too well. So be more articulate, right? You have to examine this. Tape yourself, right? Tape yourself and you'll see what I'm talking about, right? We don't look to change you. It's looking to sharpen your skills so you stand out in the crowd. So are you entertaining? Are you articulate? What is your dress attire? That's what it's all about. You're in the insurance business. If you haven't sold anything in the last 6 months, you better look like you sell something every single day. You can't look like that desperate agent trying to find an next client, because people will read that from you. Just like you can read their buying signals that people throw at you that you should be understanding, there's also these signals that you're bringing out where people will work with you or not. Does that make sense? Who would you want to work with? You want to work with people that look like they know what they're doing, by the way they talk, by the way they dress, and everything else. Standing out in the crowd can really depend on, what did you learn? What are you learning from your experiences when you're out there in the field, right? If something didn't work, well, you weren't standing out. Don't continue to do the same things, right? So the idea is, in order for you to bring on the competition, well, that means you better be confident about your products. Are you truly confident about your products? Because I want to stand out. I want to be that agent that you use. I want to be that financial advisor that you use. Well, do you know the other plans that are out there? Do you? If I was to ask you, do you know the difference between your plan and other competitors' plans? Can you show me a value in your plan versus the other competition's plan? Because you need to know these things. Those are the things that show somebody that you know what you're doing. Those are the things that make you stand out in the crowd. So truly, do you stand out in the crowd? Now, when you conduct your business, also remember there's a lot of things swirling around in your mind, right? You're sitting down with somebody or you're speaking in front of an audience, right? I keep on coming back to the part of dressing the part, because that's the first thing. You see, your shirt, your appearance, well, that's your first impression to somebody. If you don't look like you're all put together, and I don't mean that in a negative way, But if you are not looking like you take care of yourself, how can you take care of that customer? You see, these are all important things that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but I want to make you successful. You need to look that part. You need to play that part. You need to be that part. You need to be the person that stands out in the crowd. So are you? So the checklist of things to do. Number one, be articulate. Practice. Number two, learn the competition's plans and show how your plan makes sense. If your plan does not make sense for that person's situation and the plan that they have or they're looking for does make sense, well, that's the right plan for them. There's nothing wrong with walking away from something that you know is not right for them. If they're on the right plan, leave them alone. Now, are you entertaining? Are you entertaining? Do you really entertain people? Are they pleased to be around you? These are all things that make sense. You know, one time I did an opportunity meeting, and there had to be maybe 60, 70 agents in this room learning about certain opportunities from Senior Service North America, right? And I heard some agents talking, and they were just going back and forth, and agents saying that, you know, think about when you go to meetings, you start talking to people and say, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Sometimes you run into people you haven't seen in many, many years. The idea is I ran into somebody that I didn't see for 17 years. And the idea is that, you know, we started talking and stuff like that, but I did not tell that person that this was my event. So when everybody got to sit down in their seats and that agent sat down, he's a financial advisor, both of us are financial advisors at a major firm many years ago. I didn't see him for 17 years. When he sat down and I came to the front of the room, he cannot believe that I was that person. You see, I stood out in the crowd because I was the one who was leading the event, right? I stood out because when I was through, he actually said, I can't believe this is you. What an incredible operation you have. You see, that's testimony. That is a testimony to how I stand out, how my company stands out. Because when he saw what that was, he was total disbelief. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. He was in total awe. You need to bring that awe effect to the potential clients that you have. It's key. It's key to standing out. Standing out in the crowd means the difference between being successful and not. Because the idea is this: if you're not inviting competition, your competition is going to get you. You can't do that. The insurance business is a wonderful business. What do you need to do in the insurance business? You need to write applications. You need to provide solutions for people. And if you don't have a shot in sharing a story on how you could help these people, well, then you lost. You're at a negative. You're at a deficiency. We can't do that. We need you to start thinking like a successful agent. You start to stand out in the crowd. Start standing out in the crowd by what? Your dress attire. Be the part, play the part. You are the part. You can definitely do this. Stand out in the crowd is crucial to your success. Examine what you do. Examine how you stand out in the crowd. Do people know you? If you were walking down the street or you were in a crowd, will people know exactly what you do? Are you standing out? There's a lot of things to make you stand out, right? We mentioned a few. You know, what about the branding that you do? Branding is so important. Do you do branding? You got to treat this business like a business, and branding is so darn important. Companies spend millions and millions of dollars every year on branding. You could do some things to make it easier for you. So what I want to just share with you and just really wrap this all up is that, you know, standing out in the crowd is very, very important. You know, I learned that many years ago, and because I was able to put together a culture, remember we talked about this in other podcasts, I put together a culture that makes senior services stand out. We need to make you stand out. So the first thing for you to do is examine how you conduct your business, right? Examine how you're branding yourself, right? Examine when people talk to you, are they totally confident in your services? Do you dress the part? Be proud. Be proud of your business and dress the part each day, right? Whether you're going to see somebody or not, there's nothing like looking good and feeling good walking down that street, right? Keep a positive mental attitude too. You got to do that. PMA, very important. We all know that. So those are some small things that you could do to uplift your business because it'll work. So I want to leave you with one important thing. Stand out now. Don't wait. Now, today, think of the ways you're going to stand out. Give me a call. 631-465-9346 if you have any questions. If you want to learn more about how to stand out in your community, in any meeting, we'll show you how. Fair enough? So thanks again, folks. I hope you took this information, and I hope you're going to run with it because it's going to help you, guaranteed. Hey, I'll see you at the next one. I got to get out of here now. Take care.